Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Reality Rangers. I'm your host, Malik Fortier.
And I'm Andrew Hill, and we're now talking about episode 3 of Survivor 50. It's the first swap of the season. I would say it's probably the lowest episode, in my opinion, of it might be the worst, but it was still very fun. We got a lot of moments.
A lot of fun stuff to get into. Yeah. But before we delve fully into the episode, I'd like to do my, weekly reminders. First of all the views expressed in Reality Rangers are solely our own and are not reflective of SpiritLive or Toronto Metropolitan University. And second of all, huge spoiler warning for everything reality TV related, but specifically Survivor 50 episode 3. All right, huge, big. If you continue watching and you hadn't seen the episode, that would have been a big mistake. A big mistake.
Big mistake.
A little bit of foreshadowing there. So yeah, Andrew, how did this episode start?
Yeah, we started the episode. It was, we kind of didn't do very much before we really just went directly into a swap. It was kind of, we got a little bit of camp dynamics, the debrief from last Tribal of Christian saying, I'm okay. I only, I get a little frazzled. We got a few other tribes saying we think there's going to be a swap. And obviously there is.
But right before the swap on Sela, we see, people saying, okay, if there's a swap, we got to make some, plans going ahead. And Devins and Christian concoct this plan to tell people, their two allies, Suri and Emily, that it was Devins who found the Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol, the baby, and to kind of clue them in, bring them in, and kind of solidify that trust. So they tell Suri, and she's like, okay, this is a good sign, I can work with these people, but they don't have enough time to tell Emily before the swap. So it's kind of ooh, she's up in the air, and so we get to these mats, and everybody has to drop their buffs. Yeah.
I can't believe I forgot about the Bebby.
Yeah, the Bebby, yeah.
So we didn't get enough time to tell Emily. You would have thought, okay, since Christian is going to tell her right before they swap, just in case they're not on the same tribe, then it should be fine. A little bit frazzled, but I think ultimately it should be okay, just because they obviously didn't get a chance to talk to her that morning, and he had said to her, we found it last night. So, you would think it'd be fine, but Emily...
Emily
not
didn't
happy.
respond well to that. Emily was kind of why are they only telling me now? I thought I was closer with them.
We see the return of Lulu, Emily. It's crazy.
Exactly. She's pushing back on things. She's, she's not really happy. And a lot of people are not the happiest that there's a swap. We see Camilla. I remember seeing Camilla in the previews not being happy, and she's kind of a little upset at first. Even Charlie voices his... disdain for what's happening,
voices
even though
his inner Liz.
Inner Liz.
I'm pissed.
Except we find out that he actually voted for a swap, and so he did get gagged there. Mm-hmm. But the buffs are dropped, and let's pull up the picture of the new 50 swap tribe so that we can see who's who and see these dynamics over here.
Yes.
I know we talked about it a little bit last week, but officially the new Sela looks like Suri, Rick, Charlie, Dee, Jonathan, Camilla, and Rizzo. And so what do we think about this tribe? What were the reactions from the players as well?
Right. Last week, I feel like we couldn't really get a read on any of these swap tribes. Now that we have a little bit to sink our teeth into, I think starting with the Sela tribe, it seems like there is a consensus alliance between the 4 original, Kahlo members. Yeah. And I wasn't expecting it. It feels like kind of a weird combination of people, but I guess it makes sense. I'm a little upset that we see more of a pushback against Suri, specifically from Dee and Jonathan.
Yeah, we'll touch more on that.
But it's nice to see that Rick and Suri are now actually wanting to work with each other.
That bond there. And also, Camilla, who was originally upset about there being a swap, is now a little delighted, given that she is in the numbers.
Yeah.
Now, if we move on to Kahlo, the new Kahlo is comprised of Chrissy, Coach, Tiff, Aubrey, Colby, Genevieve, and Joe. What do we think about that one?
Yeah. This one, I don't like this tribe at all.
No?
There's some good players that I enjoy. I like Tiffany a lot. I like Genevieve quite a lot. But I mean, I might get some hate from the Godvive stans. I might be one of them too. I don't like it. This is like not fun Genevieve. They're working with like the strength, the loyalty,
the honesty and integrity people.
It's like, I understand
like,
Aubrey.
Do what you have to do.
Aubrey was being a little like weird to you at the beginning of the game, but you gotta push back on that.
You gotta push back on that and try to make those bonds. Like, I mean, they would be in the minority regardless, unless they would like pull in Chrissy, as we'll see later in the episode. But yeah, I'm getting bad vibes from this tribe.
But they know now that Aubrey has the idol.
Yeah.
And I feel like you could use that as an opportunity. And it might not work out, but like, if you are in the minority, but you want to work with these people and not work with the people you're going to be stuck, like, you will probably end up being stuck with Joe and Coach and whatever the whole game. So I'd rather just move on from that and try and work with the person who has the idol that you gave them. You know, like,
exactly. And with the prospect of working with all these people, these honesty and integrity people, Genevieve, I don't think would bode well with that, because she's kind of like a slithery, slimy player. She goes where the wind takes her. If she betrays these allies, they're not going to take that well, especially if they're on a jury.
Yeah.
So I would say just be opposed to them and be their kind of opponent from the jump, and they'll take that better. I think this might be a little bit of a dangerous tango she's dancing. Now, with the new Vatu, we've got Angelina, Q, Stephanie, Christian, Emily, Ozzy, and Mike. And this tribe it's an interesting makeup. We've got the 3 Davids and Goliaths. We've got Q and Emily. And we've got Ozzy and Mike who've got a connection. So this is a very interconnected tribe.
Yeah. I think this was the most interesting tribe going into it. And we both predicted someone from this tribe was going to go home.
Yeah.
I think... I mean, we were right. We'll say it now. Vatu was the tribe that lost the immunity challenge.
Yeah.
And we'll get to who goes home later. But I think it's still the most interesting tribe to me. Like, we have the dynamic of the David versus Goliath 3, which I wasn't fully expecting them to actually want to work together.
Yeah, especially given the postseason or like the post-game press where, you know, we see some beef between Angelina and Christian. It's like, oh, maybe we thought they would go after each other.
Yeah, but then we also have, I think, kind of like a breakout episode for Emily, who, as we were saying before, was not happy about the idol. And so she kind of ends up betraying Christian by telling everyone that Christian was the one who found the idol, and then they go on to talk to Angelina and realize, oh, I feel bad, and then goes to talk to Christian and Ozzy and Mike, and she's basically betrayed every single person on this tribe.
She's Emily flipping all over the place. She had a very indecisive episode, but she was the swing vote, so it's like, if anyone can be indecisive, it is her.
Yeah.
I actually want to play the clip of Christian malfunctioning after Emily reveals to him that she leaked the idol information. It was really funny.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite scenes. I just love any reaction from Christian, but I've never seen him like actually angry. Yeah. So it was like really interesting to watch.
No secret. I whispered it in your ear for a reason. Why would you do this?
Yeah, so I would react like that too, because like everyone always says in Survivor, information is currency, and you've just spilt my purse everywhere. You've spilt my wallet. Bills are flying everywhere. So I would be kind of crashing out, but I think Christian does a good job right after this of being understanding and still welcoming Emily back with open arms, because he did realize that she would be that pivotal vote. But yeah, Ozzy and Q and Stephanie were trying to form an insurgence against the Davids and Goliath, but Q didn't have his vote. That's an important part about this. Even if Emily did go with them, it would be a 3-3 tie, and that would be kind of problematic.
Right. And obviously, like, they only get to know that, like, right before Tribal, so it's not much of a factor, but it kind of, like, causes a shift to where we see Emily and Ozzy start to become more of, like, a duo, which wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, contrary to last 2 episodes, Emily was pushing for Ozzy.
Yeah, it's, honestly, I think somehow really impressive social work from Emily and Ozzy to an extent. honestly, as much as I hate to admit it, I feel like I would kind of play similarly to Emily as well, where like if I was told information, I feel like I would just kind of go to everyone, and then like my opinion would change so fast that I would be like, oh, now I want to, like, oh, this person has changed my mind, or like not changed my mind, but like
give me a new perspective.
Right, give me a new perspective, and then it just like I feel like I'd be too frazzled to play the game, but I still want to,
Yeah, it's still fun, like, but after it might catch up to her. That's the only thing I'm worried about, like playing both sides, playing all these sides.
I think it will work out for, especially because seemingly only Stephanie is against her, because as we know now, Q was voted out in a 5-1 vote. Stephanie, the only person to vote for, who was it? Angelina. And that is devastating.
Yeah, before we even get to unpacking our emotions about Q leaving, let's dissect how this went about. So we had Angelina, Q, and Ozzy trying to target Stephanie, Q, and Ozzy trying to target Angelina, and then the David and Goliath trio were trying to target Q, but they were originally telling the others that they wanted to target Stephanie. So what's funny is Q reheats his own nachos from 46 and kind of does a kamikaze play and tells Mike, vote for me. Don't worry, vote for me. Because he's trying to draw the votes from off of Stephanie. He actually has this clip talking about like his number ones, Q and his allies. It's really funny, where he talks about Stephanie after he discusses with Mike. Let's pull that one up.
If you know something about me, the only person that can turn and vote out my number one is me.
Yeah, so another Qism. I think he's probably the best confessionalist of the new era, and like top 5 of all Survivor. Like, I literally am hanging on every word he says. But yeah, he basically tells Mike, who was already going to vote for him, and Mike's like, oh, yep. No problem, I'll do it. Like, which I would have sensed that lack of hesitation as a red flag. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think the way that Q sees the game is very like, he doesn't play old school, but he sees everyone else as playing old school. Because like, I think he assumed Mike wasn't going to work with any of them. Like, there wasn't going to be another majority. Mm-hmm. And it's like, if Mike was going to vote Q, why would the rest of his allies not also vote Q? Even if their plan wasn't already Q. It's like, you have a warped perception, and that's what I love about Q, but we don't get to see it often until he goes to Tribal.
Yeah, and that's why I really wanted to see a lot more of Q in this season, because him at Tribal is him at his best. Like, he really is causing all these theatrics. I love the little quote he had about, like, fill in your bubble sheet, hand in your vote, we're gonna pass this test. And I was like, I miss that. Like, I'm gonna miss that so much during this season. I kind of wanted him for at least, like, a couple. He could have went, like, merge boo kind of thing, just a couple more Tribals. But unfortunately, he was taken from us so soon. Maybe he'll be back. He'll definitely be back. If he wants to come back, he will come back.
Oh yeah, I could see him as like kind of maybe a new era like Rupert, where Rupert came back because he was such a character, and like he just never saw himself as a character, so he was always so real in his like insanity. And I think that's what people loved about Rupert, and that's what I love about Q, because Q is a maniac, and I wish we could have seen more of like Q's antics like we did on 46. It would have been even if he had like survived this Tribal, just one more episode.
Just one more, please. Like Q interacting with a bunch of people that he hadn't interacted yet. Like, yeah. Like who has he not interacted? He hasn't interacted with Tiff. He hasn't seen Tiff again yet. That reconnection would have been amazing. It would have been everything to me. And Charlie. Mm-hmm. Like, and like, I mean, yeah, he did. He was on Aubrey's tribe. Sari. Like, it just, I feel like there was a lot of missed potential there. But that's the thing with an all-star season. You're gonna have these legends going out early,
right?
And some legends will fall, some will rise, some will be created. So let's take a look at our draft. Let's start with yours, because you lost somebody.
I did. I had Q, and I will never regret picking Q. My reasoning for choosing Q was and always has been not that I think he was going to win or do well even, but you can't have a draft and not get Q as soon as possible.
This is true. This is Q, even.
This is Q.
Okay, so I think your draft still looks good, like, on paper, even though, like, 2 of your top 6 picks have been eliminated. Like, you've got Christian, who I'd say is one of the top 3 players right now in the game, and Suri, who... Let's talk about Suri. Let's start that Suri dialogue.
So turned her game around, which is like the Suri charm. Everyone falls victim to it. But I'm so glad, because first episode, terrified for her. Mm-hmm. And I think she's still in a situation now where she could and maybe should go home.
Yes.
Screw you, Dee's friend.
Whoever Dee's friend is who told her to not get fooled by Suri, no, you're just supposed to get fooled by Suri and let her walk to the end. Like, that's just part of Survivor. Like, don't interrupt with the world's natural order.
Screw you, Mel.
Mel, whoever that is. And Jonathan, which, I mean, it was always screw Jonathan, kind of, so that's a given. But yeah, like... I love Suri on this tribe because she's surrounded by a bunch of, like, Rick and a bunch of people who are younger than her. And the funniest part was, like, Suri's comments on Rizgod. So, like, let's pull up the clip of her talking about Rizgod, because that made me crack up a little bit.
Right.
Tribe with 4 Kalo members, Devins and I from Sela, and 1 Batu member, Rizgod. Okay? Lord help me.
It's such a silly moment, but like hearing Suri having to say the name Rizgod, I never thought this day would, well, even like, did I think Rizzo was going to go home before he met Suri? Maybe.
It just seems it seems like a Survivor fan fiction.
Yeah.
Like, a self-insert saying
right,
like
RPF.
Like, it just seems kind of like unreal to me. And speaking of, Rizzo's your next player on your draft. How do you feel about Rizzo right now?
I actually feel pretty good about Rizzo. Like, he's not being shown that much, but he's also not nearly as invisible as a lot of other people.
Yeah.
I think he seems to be... he could be like an easy vote if they go to tribal, but I honestly have like, I feel good about that tribe. I mean, first time Rizzo has ever won a puzzle, he was blindfolded.
Yeah.
Like, that's impressive.
It's ironic.
Yeah, and they were so far ahead. Like, I have faith that they're going to do very well in challenges. I think he'll be able to probably make a next swap or like the merge as well. I don't know if he's going to be a prominent character that like makes the end. But if we see more of him, I'm happy for it. He's a very different character than last season too.
Yeah. The one thing, though, and we talked about this a little bit in the last episode, was his dynamic with another one of your draft picks, Charlie.
Yeah.
That, honestly, to me, maybe was the highlight of the episode. Taking these 2 people who I wasn't even, like, the biggest fans of, Rizzo and Charlie, but that scene was perfect. So, basically, we have, on the new swap, Charlie and Rizzo hanging out, and we hear Rizzo, in a flashback, say, yeah, I was closest with Sophie B on my season, but when it came for me voting on the jury, I voted for Savannah because she played the best game. And that sent Charlie off the edge. He was reeling. He was getting PTSD from 46. Insult to injury also that Rizzo the next day asked him if he still spoke to Maria. It was like a double whammy, and Charlie was not having this.
Yeah, I have to wonder how Charlie feels now watching 49, seeing all the like postseason stuff. Like, it's so funny that he got it fully wrong solely because they didn't want to reveal how close him and Savannah were.
Right.
I assume just because he didn't know what Savannah had said. So, like, even though she's eliminated, he doesn't want to, like, make them realize, oh, she was lying. That might put a target on Rizzo, whatever. But I think it's just really funny that, like, he was voting for one of his best friends either way. So him getting so upset about it is like, if Rizzo goes home by Charlie's hand, because Charlie was scorned by Maria, so funny.
Maria's haunting the narrative.
Yeah.
Maria's haunted the narrative. Kenzie, we literally saw a clip of Kenzie winning. Kenzie mentioned, Kenzie shout out. There were so many, like, that's what I love about 50 so far, is the, like, inclusion of all the scenes from the past. And also randomly a White Lotus scene. Okay. Like, having a clip of the White Lotus when we were talking about, like, Angelina and Mike being close. I love all these, like, amalgamations and, like, it's putting stuff together. It really feels like a celebration of everything that is Survivor.
It was really well edited. I think the whole season, I mean, honestly, the new era in general has been pretty well edited, but, like, this season especially, I think they just have so much material to work with that it feels like they're executing it well.
Yeah, and so let's go to the next person on your draft, Chrissy.
Yes.
Chrissy had an emotional episode.
Yeah. She's still not, like, the biggest in the edit. We didn't see too much of her, but we did get a good moment from her where she talked about, like, her story after Survivor and, like, you know, the what was it? She had gone through chemo.
Yeah, she had to get a surgery to, like, remove her ovarian, like, cysts or something. I can't recall the details exactly, but she had to undergo, like, very intense surgery. And she, you know...
And Coach is being annoying as hell about it.
And Coach was like... You should maybe shut up. People think you're a little annoying, so maybe you should, you know, pipe down, like, but in a friendly way. And she just, like, really took that to heart, and I kind of felt bad, but this did lead her to trying to talk a little bit. She had a little girl chat with, of all people, Genevieve and Aubrey, which is kind of like ironic having two people who are against each other. If anybody could bring them together, it would be feminist icon Chrissy Hoffbeck, right?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I still think we're not gonna see Chrissy for too much longer, which is upsetting. But I think this was a good episode for her. Like, I think it put Coach in the negative light where she got a lot of the spotlight, and I think she's not going to be, like, a target for a while. A lot of her target was because of, like, the younger people kind of being rubbed the wrong way. Yeah, but this is an older tribe now.
I think this bodes well for her. Like, she's in with the Colbys, the Coaches, the Joes, even though, like, she might not be happy with what Coach said to her.
Right.
Which is ironic because this is literally a callback to Heroes versus Villains when Tyson was like, Coach, man, you gotta stop talking about your silly stories and you gotta, like, stop talking so much. It really came full circle, and it's ironic that he's calling anyone out when he still kind of does that. But I digress. Speaking of honesty and integrity, we've got Joe from 48 next on your draft. How do you feel about Joe right now?
On this tribe, I'm upset. I feel like he would have been a lot better of a character if he was on another tribe, because now he's allowed to be, like, he's getting affirmations of...
He's being enabled.
Right. He's being enabled into his tendencies, where I think if he was on another tribe, we would have gotten a lot more, like, Devin's Joe fights kind of thing.
Oh, I kind of wish they swapped together. That would have been juicy.
That would have been incredible. And I think if like, Cirie and Joe had swapped places, I think Cirie does much better. Joe probably goes.
Yeah.
Would have been beautiful.
Next up for 48, we have Camilla. How do you feel about Camilla?
I think she had a very good episode, like, very positive episode for her. But she's very under-edited right now. She'll get, like, a confessional an episode. We'll see, like, her in the challenge, but we don't actually see, like, her talking beforehand. I think she's just being cursed by being placed on all of the, like, I guess, kumbaya tribes.
Yeah, but also it's good for her because they're the winningest tribes.
Right.
Who do you think on this tribe could be her, like, ride or die? Who could be her Kyle here?
Honestly, I feel like her and Charlie could work very well together. It would be really funny to see, like, her and Rizzo.
Yeah.
But I think she'll probably end up sticking with that 4 that we had of, like, her, Charlie, Dee, and Jonathan. Jonathan is more like, I guess, a meat shield, and I could see her working with either Dee or Charlie, primarily.
Yeah. Do you think she would try to protect Cirie? Which is the number one priority for this podcast is protecting Cirie.
Right. There's a side of me where I think Camilla would, because Camilla seems to, like, love Cirie, but also she is a very strategic person. She showed that she wasn't very, like,
sentimental.
Yeah, she didn't have, other than, like, her number ones, like Kyle or whatever, she wasn't going, like, she was perfectly fine with cutting anybody.
Yeah. She would sooner cut Jonathan just because, like, and I would too, because frankly, I don't know how many swaps are coming up. He might be on another tribe in a couple of swaps or in a couple of days.
Exactly. You can't get lucky 3 times.
Merge, he's going to dominate these challenges. I feel like they should be looking at Jonathan, even if he's one of their numbers. I do think it kind of feels like with Cirie, it's like the Denise going for Sandra thing. I feel like some people want Cirie on their resume. Yes.
That's why I think D is like fully blocked off from working with Cirie. I feel like Camilla's just not like in a position where she wants to call the shots right now. So I think if they target Cirie, she would be indifferent to it. Like, she might not be happy, but I think she would do it unless they like have some like crazy plan that comes up, because she loves chaos. If they had like true. If Devins, Cirie, Rizzo, whatever, like they come up to her and they're like, we're gonna flip the game, and it's like, then hell yeah, I think she would. That. But like, would they do that? Cirie isn't like the most proactive player. That's not how she's so successful. Rick Devins might be. Maybe. I think that's probably the saving grace of Cirie in this situation, because Cirie is more of a like slow burn. But that doesn't work on someone like D, who's so dead set on it.
Yeah, and it doesn't work necessarily in the new era.
Right. And it didn't work on Tom in Heroes vs. Villains or whatever. So like, it might not, it's a similar archetype. I think it could play out similarly, even though I don't want it to.
Yeah. Your next 2 picks, they kind of had like a queen out on this episode. Angelina and Emily. How you feel about those 2?
So much better. I think the last few episodes, we haven't seen much of them, but Angelina, especially this episode, has had like a breakout moment. She was back to her Angelina self. Yeah. It felt like when you're like, you see one of your friends is really sick and like they're so out of it, and then you speak to them like a week later and they're back to their like, oh my God, you're so happy again.
It was refreshing.
Yeah.
She got her spark back.
And Emily, we already talked about, had a big episode. She was all over the place, but that's why we love her, and I think it worked in her favor. Somehow, she's like still nearly the number 1 of like 4 people, but yeah. It's crazy.
And Charlie, we talked enough about Charlie. Bye, next. And then Jonathan, we don't have to talk a single word about Jonathan. Next. Well, actually, no. Well, let's talk about those 2, because in the next time
on... Yeah, I was about to mention that.
What was happening?
Oh my God, Jonathan died!
They were definitely like play fighting. I don't know. Is Jonathan like an actor? Like, is he a stunt double?
I don't think so. He's just Goliath and Charlie Davidson.
Charlie Davidson. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Those 2, they're up to something, and I don't like the look of it.
They're the Kumbaya tribe. They have to have some like random.
Pass the time.
Yeah.
Let's look at my draft real quick, because this top 3 is kind of ludicrous right now. My top 3 picks on my draft are Tiffany, Aubrey, and Genevieve. So
crazy.
In this episode on the New Swap tribe, all 3 of them are on the same tribe. Okay. And they didn't go to tribal. I should be happy. I'm a little scared, because Genevieve is going around to, as we said, all the honesty and integrity people and pinning, the vote on Aubrey. And the one person who's working with Aubrey right now is Tiff. So, like, I should be happy at one point, but then I shouldn't, because, like I don't want my mothers to go against each other. I'm getting, like, flashbacks to 47 when it was, like, Genevieve versus Rachel versus Caroline. I'm like, I don't want y'all to fight. Can you just work together? Like, what happened to Black Widow Brigade? Like, I'm just kind of scared. What do you think's going to happen?
Yeah, it's scary. I'm so glad that, at the very least, we're getting Tiffany content. Not much still, but, I mean, Tiffany and Aubrey, I think, will be a possibly like important duo in the next few episodes, especially with Aubrey's idol. Like, Aubrey is now saying like Tiffany's number 1. She hasn't found anyone else to like really work with aside from the like secret idol people, which she doesn't know about. She doesn't know who they are. They didn't go onto her tribe. Like, they're
and for
not,
the time being, they're not around her.
Right. So like, she has Tiffany, and I think that works great for her. She's still going to be in the minority, but as long as they can not go to 2 whole tribal councils, I think they're good.
Yeah. Like, obviously, she can play that Bebby if she gets in trouble. And then I'm assuming Genevieve would go out there, which would be heartbreaking. Ugh. But she is the 3rd of my top 3 picks. So technically, like, if we're going, like, statistically and mathematically, like, it would be fine. But I just don't want to lose any 3 of those gals. I love them.
Yeah.
On the contrary, we have my 4th pick, Stephanie LaGrossa. Had a horrible episode.
It's crazy you took her so early in the draft. It's so funny.
I don't know why I did that. I was just like, this is an out-of-the-box pick. But, okay, what do we think about her prospects?
Like, I guess she's okay. She's not... I mean, obviously she's in a bad position now. If they go to tribal again, I think she's done for. But I also think she's just... I don't know. I don't want her to do well. I think her allies, one just went home. I think another one is kind of doomed to go home during this swap. It's not looking good for her. So I kind of see her either as like a late pre-merge or early merge boot.
I just really wish it was her instead of Q. Like, no shade, but kind of full shade. Like, it just... I don't know. Like, what is she going to do from here on out? She's probably going to, if she survives these next couple tribal councils and makes it to the merge or another swap, she's going to link up with the Joes and everyone. And it's just not going to be fun for me. So if she has to go, I'll take that. Like, I know she's high in my draft, but if she goes soon, I'm fine.
What's she going to do from now on? But also, what has she done so far?
Right.
Like, nothing.
I was happy when she was working with, like, Genevieve and Kyle, but
Kyle's gone.
Genevieve's on another tribe. Like, she's really giving me nothing. Like, I don't know. Stephanie, I mean, she's gotten out of precarious positions before, so maybe she's going to find a way out of this. But if she doesn't, I wouldn't be upset.
I wouldn't say she got out of precarious positions. She kind of got, like, voted out, like, 3 episodes later. But I guess
true.
She was just the most likable of unlikable people.
Yeah. Next up, we have D. Like I said, D, watch it. The last 2 people that came for Suri didn't end so well, so watch it. Coach, I don't love Coach anymore. Coach is not coaching for me anymore. Coach is assistant coaching. He's off the team for me.
Right.
I'm benching Coach.
Yeah.
I don't know. Coach, you're on probation right now. Skip.
He's in the ice box, and I just need him, like... He was fun in theory, but I think he's very quickly grown tired because he wants to work with... I think the thing that's funny about Coach is just because he loves honor and integrity and then doesn't, like, show it at all.
Yeah.
But if he's going to try and work with, like, Joe, then he's going to be forced to, and that's not fun.
Exactly. If he's doing that in spite of my favorite players, I don't love it. Speaking of the second half of what I call Coco, we have Colby... We've Coach and then Colby, who's also part of that little Honesty and Integrity Alliance. Colby, I don't know much about Colby. Colby basically got a concussion this episode on the challenge. I thought he was going to get medevaced after hitting his head on that wooden bar. Colby didn't give me much. Next, Ozzy. I'm liking Ozzy a little bit more this episode. He's working with Emily. He's playing self-interested, which is good.
I'm getting higher on him each episode.
Yeah, but very slowly higher. Like, it's a slow climb. Rick Devens, like I always say, very much a steal. I think he did really well this episode. We didn't really see him much this episode. I don't know how he's is in the power dynamic of his new tribe. We didn't really see a confessional from him after he got swapped, so I wonder, is he the first boot, or is he maybe going to find some people to work with?
I think he's in an okay position. Like, he's not going to be first boot, I don't think, but I don't think he has many ally opportunities outside of, like, I could see, obviously he's working with Suri. I could see him, like, having a funny dynamic with Rizzo, because Rizzo doesn't have anybody.
Nope.
You know, who knows?
And then my last remaining person has skyrocketed for me is Mike.
Yeah, I'm shocked. I thought he was going to be, like, first boot. I mean, he was my prediction for the boot this episode. He just feels like he's not doing much, but I think he got really lucky with the swap. And I think it's put him in a position where we get to actually watch him play. And I'm so glad we're finally seeing a world where Christian Hubicki and Mike White actually want to work with each other instead of targeting each other every single episode.
That would be nice. That's nice. I think as much as this tribal was sad for me, like I wouldn't mind seeing Mike and Christian and maybe Angelina to go far, which Angelina was my prediction for the boot tonight as well. So we were both wrong, but we got the right tribe.
Yes.
Notably. But yeah, I'm still overall, I'm still pumped about the season. I think it's going into a good direction, but there is some like avenues it could take that I wouldn't necessarily love.
There's been lowlights, but they've been like unimportant.
Yeah.
So I think if they start to become more important, then I might like, I'm not going to check out, but it's not going to be the best experience. I want them to keep this momentum. It's been pretty great.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to some humor. Let's move on to our tweets of the week.
Yeah.
Do you want to start with your tweet of the week?
Yeah. V, pull up the tweet of the week. I think there was a more clear tweet of the week last week, but these two are very funny to me. My first one, obviously, Q should have known better than to trust someone who eats pork, drinks Coke, and is left-handed. Bad combination. It cost him the $1 million.
And as he said in his little exit confessional, Emily flipped on him. And
Flipped on him.
It was very prophetic. And yeah, I don't think that's the real Nalea from season 4 Marquesas. I think that might be a stan account. I'm not sure though.
It would be so funny.
It would be hilarious. And what's even hilarious is if we pull up my tweet of the week, we actually also have a tweet from your fave Nalea. Now that I think about it, she was on a roll.
She was killing it this week.
Yeah, your fave Nalea tweeted. I was just caught by the picture because that's one of my mother's.
Yeah.
She would have never let Jeff do his little rap. And that is right. Like, Sophie Segretti would have put her foot down and say, no, we're not doing this. Because I saw somebody comment in the replies. They said, notice how there was fried chicken and waffles on 48 and this rap on 50, but nothing of the sort for 49.
It was very uncomfortable to watch. And watching with my mom and sister, like, we were all just, like, sitting there just really uncomfortable by Jeff Probst. And I have some words I want to say to Jeff.
Oh.
Yeah, it's... If we can get the room quiet.
Okay.
Simmer down, simmer down. We won a lot together. Respect for that. But socially, you don't know what you're doing. I hope you stop saying I so much. I hope you start listening to people. Oh yeah, and finally, someone has to say it. Stop rapping. You're trash at rapping. You're garbage. You're garbage at rapping. You can't rap. You have no bars. Put the mic down, bro. Put the pen down. Pick up an eraser.
Yeah,
Amen.
Wendell actually foresaw this. He was not talking about Chris Noble in that confessional. He was actually a time traveler talking about Jeff Probst.
Chris Noble was kind of like a visionary. You know, he was living that dream on Ponderosa.
Yeah, I don't know about Chris Noble. He was a character. Maybe we should bring him. We should have brought him back for 50.
As much as people like dog on Ghost Island, it was one of the first seasons I watched. I kind of loved it as much as it was boring, but like it was really only great, like good because of Dom, Wendell, and Chris Noble. And Dom should have been back for 50 because that was like one of my top picks to come back.
Oh my
The
gosh.
only person to lose in a tie vote for winner of Soul Survivor. And then Chris Noble would have been hilarious. I feel like they should bring him back for like second chances, especially, or if they did Rivals, Dom and Chris Noble.
I really do think maybe my theory is they're waiting to bring Dom back for second chances because he's like the most second chance
It's
person.
like when they brought back Kelly Wigglesworth.
Like that's
it's
the
like,
definition of second chance.
That's their like poster boy of the season.
Yeah.
Or if they do a Rivals season, like we said.
For sure.
Chris and Dom is one of my favorite rivals we've ever had on Survivor.
Yeah, that would actually be pretty fun. Like I don't know how that would work. Would it be like Blood versus Water where they're on different tribes?
I think so.
Because that would then be really balanced because they're kind of like both physically strong, kind of stubborn people.
And then it's like you get the calm before the storm, and then the swap happens, and we start seeing more of the dynamics and the, you know. We could bring back like Joe, or no, not Joe.
Not Joe.
No. We could bring back like obviously Colby and Jerry need to come back.
Yes, Shannon Ricard.
Yeah. We could see like Charlie and Maria.
Bruce and Katura.
Yeah, that one would be
That
good.
would be fun.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, like, okay, can we have this? Can we actually have this? I'd order it right now. 54. Rival season, now.
Jeff, please.
Jeff, please.
I know I was just dogging on you 2 minutes ago,
put
but
up
please.
with your rapping. You can do a rap for every episode if we have that season. Please, please.
Put it on Spotify. We love it.
We love it. Speaking of rap, I think it's time to wrap up this episode. See, that was a really good segue. And yeah, we will see you all next week. Thank you all for tuning in to another amazing episode of Reality Rangers. Do you have any final words, Andrew?
Just thank you all for watching. I'm excited to see Jonathan die by the hands of Charlie.
Yes, with a stick. Exactly. It was just a stick. That'll be all. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Bye.